This is spinach and this is collard, commonly known as sukuma wiki. These are the most loved vegetables by our community partners. Collard, commonly known as sukuma wiki, is more yielding. That means you have a consistent supply of vegetables from your backyard garden. However, spinach is more nutritious. Welcome to yet another episode of the RTV Chit Chat. My name is Odege Amos. In this episode, we shall be talking about agriculture, one of our biggest income drivers in our programs. However, we shall be specifically looking at keyhole and compound gardening. Before we get into details, let us look at some of the farmers.
Lisomanga yesirieza lyakuleetera kuyiga kukola kina kulima bunimiro bwebunana bwezinyinyi. Bunimiro bwezinyinyi buno byakuleetera ko zinyinyi zekubyala. Zinyinyizo niyo kuli sukuma, kuli isaga, kuli dodo, kuli butungulu, kuli sufa. Zinyinyizo kekikanakana ni kilomita ikole kina inze ngule niga mapesa goseda. Isese zinyize seze kisingayo kugana ingana sukuma wiki nagana nisaga era niyono zinyizange zikisingira yeddala era gira mubona bula mu bwange buno kina buboneka bunano bula ibuti era kagira mubona immediate we kudya kwenana isaga ni sukuma
ya indegala kulima malo nikola vanilla na fertilizer wange wesita muzinyizese ela zinyizese ziboneka bulayi ifuna zinyi kumwaka paka ku season paka ku season akalikuferinga da kuba nafuna fertilizer omungata semwene nikolela kale bitu byese buli season biba bilayi nabi.
These and many more testimonies are what we come across in these communities. We are hosting Michael Odege, a district agriculture officer who works with Sironko. Michael, welcome to our podcast.
Oh, thank you, and thank you for coming around.
I've noticed it keeps on raining here randomly. Let's go straight to our questions before it rains on us again.
Exactly.
Okay, Michael, first question. What are the main food security challenges that you face in this community in Sironko?
And you see, our rice mills being the main food producers, we basically face those challenges that affect production, like the pests and diseases. We have the declining soil fertility, accompanied by land degradation. We also have the limited knowledge. You see, our farmers lack that knowledge on good and modern farming methods. Then we also have the limited access to good agro inputs, not forgetting the limited financial muscle. Our members are financially handicapped, so they can't access nutritious food which are sufficient for their well-being.
Okay, Michael, I found you doing trainings. I found a number of people in the community gathering, listening to you.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've been addressing some of these challenges that you've just talked about.
Yes.
How do your trainings address these challenges in these communities?
Now, basically, when we're in the field, we do hands-on trainings and we tackle the challenges that affect farmers. We always train these farmers composting. That involves the soil applied, the solid, and then the organic liquid manures. You see, the farmers can now use the available materials to make their own fertilizers and soil amendments without going to the shop and without spending the little penny that they have. And then on top of that, we also train on the agronomy, like soil preparation, seedbed preparation. We talk about the other good agronomic practices like line planting, proper spacing, pest and disease management, then soil and water conservation, among others. However, we have also incorporated in the record keeping aspect, because you see how farmers farm but they don't have proper records, and that's also one of the key challenges that they face.
Okay, Michael, to cut you short,
Yes.
you've already answered one of the questions I was going to ask you about the skills that and practices that you give to these farmers in these trainings. However, what changes or impacts have you noticed after doing these trainings in these communities?
Uh, the new things that have come in place, the new innovations, is that now these farmers with backyard farming and keyhole, these farmers are able to produce their own vegetables, and these vegetables help improve on their nutrition as well as reducing on the constraints of spending in the markets. You know, and most of these vegetables, some of them are not readily available in our local markets. So farmers get a chance to grow a number of them, and also reduces dependency on the unpredictable markets.
I love this, the fact that you brought in backyard gardens, the keyholes, and that is actually one of the things that we are specifically looking at today in this podcast.
Yes.
However, I want you to tell me, how is it easy for these community partners to maintain and set up these backyard gardens?
You know, with the RTV support, this organization has helped us in that it has helped facilitate the trainings, the farmer trainings, and also providing support in form of tools, seeds, and this makes it easy for the community to start up those backyard gardening and the keyholes. And this in turn helps in improving their food security in these communities.
So what are the kind of vegetables that you give to these farmers? Okay, what do you encourage them to plant in their keyhole and backyard gardens?
Oh, these farmers have a lot of vegetables that they prefer to plant, but most of them being the leafy vegetables. We talk about the collards, the spinach, then we talk about vegetables such as tomatoes, onions, then these usual ones we use, the amaranthus, the spiderweed, because you know about, I think you know about the spiderweed. Yeah, those, and the carrots, and so on.
Talking at the beginning of this this podcast, I shared something. Of course, I got it from one of your trainings about the difference between spinach and collard. And of course, I wanted to know about the nutrient aspect of it. How you told me that spinach has more nutrients than collard. What do you mean?
Oh, that one. Spinach and collard, which people normally call sukuma wiki. So they have a lot in common. However, there are some few differences. Now the difference is that if you look at collard is high yielding. You can pluck it for some time and it is sustainable as compared to spinach. However, spinach is more nutritious, carries more nutrients as compared to collard, in that it has more carotenoids and it has more bioactive compounds as compared to the collard. So
Okay.
that's basically the difference. We talk about nutrition and the yielding capacity.
We've talked about the good things about the keyhole gardens, about these compound gardens. However, there are challenges that people find in setting up these gardens.
Now, you know, the most formidable challenge is that the initial experience in starting these gardens. Now, to address that, we are embarking on these trainings, training the farmers on how to start up these gardens and also maintain them through training them on good agronomy, on the agronomy of those vegetables that we grow. That's why when you move around, you can see at least every home producing vegetables. You saw where we got the spinach and the collard? Yeah, that's one of our households that is implementing this program. So at least every home can now sustainably grow its own vegetables for both home consumption, and some of them even are selling the surplus they are selling to the markets to get an extra income. So that's the impact that this innovation has brought.
Compound gardens are easy to set up. They don't only stop in our community partners, but you can also set up one at your home. They're easy to maintain. They can easily be set up. Even the challenges, if you want more information, you can always reach out to Michael here and he'll give you tips on how to maintain your compound garden at home. This is the last question, Michael. Why do you believe backyard gardens are important for the future of food security in these communities?
Those backyard gardens are very important. You know, one of the challenges we face here is land. We have limited land, and you know, backyard gardening can be carried out on a limited space of land, so that is a plus. And I think this innovation is sustainable and can easily be adopted by the communities because we use the available materials which are cost effective to our farmers. So I think this one can easily address our future food security challenges in that we can use the simple and the smallest available piece of land to offer ourselves nutritious vegetables at a hand pick. And also, we don't need to overspend on the materials. We use the available materials that are available on the farm. For example, when we are making the keyhole and the backyard garden, when we are composting the materials for soil amendments. So I think this thing we will provide a solution to an everlasting food security.
Okay, thank you so much, Michael, for joining us on this podcast. I've learned a lot from you.
It's a pleasure.
More so about the difference between spinach and sukuma wiki.
Oh.
To our viewers, we've come to the end of our episode. Stay tuned for the next episodes. I hope you've enjoyed this one. See you in the next one.